want to thank everybody, one, for coming here, but two, for not laying down during the holiday season. Seriously, you guys don't know how much that's going to mean for all of us. This means after New Year's, we're all ready to kick it in. We've got, I know people have been talking to prospects. We all got several prospects online that are ready to pop off. We took this time to get ourselves ready to deliver. And so we're ready to deliver. Anything that we see today, one, we're going to incorporate what we've learned today into our final instructor manuals, which will be going out to everybody so that you can duplicate what you learned here today, which, don't worry too much, it doesn't take a lot. These are all simple tools. So, again, thank you everybody for coming in. Luke, internally here, thank you for coming. He's one of our newest members. I want to be involved. Yeah, it's recording.
I'm on it.
That's not in the way.
Nope.
No.
No. It's shining on my face.
I'm just hoping he doesn't break my camera, you know.
Yeah.
What kind of love is that?
Lots. Well, we could have known that because it's in his profile.
I actually have Good on Stage too, but what did make it into my top 5 with Good on Stage, it's a 10 or 100% I have that, but it doesn't make it my top 5. Mine is usually Life of the Party, but I don't get to demonstrate that too much in this presentation. So y'all can come karaoke with me and then we'll do it. So, Todd, don't say a word. So, anyways, let's get into the profiles. First thing, there's 2 portions of the profile. One is called the Personal Engagement Accelerator that we went through the People First Culture site, which is for People First and Atlanta Worldwide. And then internally with our new Huey system that's being developed, and where Luke and Ed and Anwar, his whole programming team, we're going to be developing that into our new Huey site. We still have the existing Huey site, but there's going to be a brand new one that looks and feels like the People First culture. Okay. Additionally, we're going to have private label sites. Typically, most private labels will use the term PVP. We're going to keep that consistent throughout our private label. We're marking like that. In Jack's case, because he has got a particular personality characteristics he used, like instead of fun, peace, control, perfect, he has in the site we're using today, and you have to understand and distinguish between the two, he uses the terms mediate or team, T-E-A-M. So you've got thinker, energizer, achiever, and mediator, which is the thinker is a perfect person, the energizer is a fun person, achiever is a controller, and mediator is a peace person. And if you're looking at any type of psychological tools, they all pretty much have 4 personality types. And that goes back, if you read into the old workbook, it goes in Hippocrates is the first one that started with 4 personality types. I just wanted to clarify that because sometimes today we're going to be working with the PEA, Personal Engagement Accelerator. The reason Jack came up with that term is just like our user-driven philosophy. It's a personal engagement, me engaging you and my peers, accelerator. It makes it happen quicker. And that's what the Huey system is about. This is a user-driven profile that's going to focus on primarily the 4 different shields. The first shield we have is our personality shield. This is not psychology. PJ sent me an email this morning saying, hey, just remember in the workbook and when you go forward to meet with these presentations, remember that people are going to have questions about validity and validation. We're not psychologists. We're not providing a psychological exam. And we've got to have that in our basket of weapons when we meet with somebody to get them to stop thinking of us as psychologists. Stop thinking of this as a psychological profile. It's not. This is a communication profile. Your best testimony that you're going to have is not because some psychologist or board of psychologists or somebody says, oh, you've validated this and proved this in some unknown group of test people. Your best testimony is going to come from them taking this trial, experiencing what you're going to experience today and having fun with learning people's different characteristics of personality, motivations, their nature, and the dynamics that shows. And them saying to you, as employees or managers of your company, wow, this is powerful stuff. If you had to ask this one question to a business owner, and you said, hey, what's more important to you? Because some company that was referred to by somebody else who referred to them said, hey, I had this powerful package I used, it was neat stuff. Or if you put 10 or 20 people through your system and they said, wow, this is going to help me exactly like this. This is going to help me over here. Every one of them have a way, this is going to help you. Which one's more powerful? Anybody?
1 to 10.
Okay. So I want people to focus on, or to think about the validity question or something like that, and get us out of that box. As salespeople, as an organization, as consultants, we're here to lead a product. We don't need to diminish our product by saying, well, we haven't got as many years as somebody else has. We haven't got the validity or the proven things there as somebody else has. We have something we know that's going to work, and we believe in it so much, we're going to allow you to let your own people tell you how good it is. Okay? Any questions on that?
Well, just make sure I get it. For validity, for the questions or issues concerning validity, the counter would be you're going to get a chance to do the trial.
Mm-hmm.
And that in itself will be our approach to doing the validity aspect.
Right. Our approach is, one, separate them from the notion that this is a psychological test.
Okay.
One, it's not a test. This is a measurement of how you feel. Simple as that. And if I know intuitively and with factuality what motivates you, what makes you feel good, what makes you feel bad, one, I know how to influence you positively, and two, I know how to avoid ticking you off. This is a communication tool. And then the second part of that is, we believe in it so much we can prove it to you. We're going to give you a trial, and you can put as many people through it as you want. And after 14 days, if your people haven't told you that we want this, then we walk away. We don't need to spend a lot of time on the sale.
Did I tell you that Matthias's degree is in psychology?
Oh, I'm good I didn't get to the part where I bored psychologists yet. Brad's heard it. What's my statement I said, Brad? Wasn't two people I don't like most, but well, we're still doing it?
Two people that you don't like that what?
Remember back in the day, I used to say, I hate psychology and I hate motivational speakers. Remember that? But yet here's what we're doing. And the difference is, here's why I say it is, they're all about analyzing you and telling you who you are and what you are, but none of them say why we are. This answers why are you the way you are. And it's from you, and it's truth. It's 100% accurate, because after you filled out the profile and you said, this makes me feel good, do you know any psychologist, Matthias, that could come and tell you, no you don't. Wait a minute, you're calling me a liar? I'm sincere at heart, really I am. No, I don't think so. You can't. That's the difference between psychology. The analytics of it is, think about what validation really is. Validation is saying, we've taken a test group of 1,500 people, and we put them through this process, and we ask them a series of questions, and based on that test group, we realized, hey, we've got a model here. 50% of people have this type of characteristic, 33% have this, and that's considered validity. But that's not truth. Truth comes from you, and that's what the EV system is. That's what People First is. That's what the honor system is. Okay? All right. Importance of personalities. One of the things you're going to learn in here is the 4 personalities we're dealing with is fun, control, peace, and perfect. On the People First side, it's the team of thinker, energizer, achiever, and mediator. What we're going to learn towards the end of this process is how to recognize these people by personality. What happens if you haven't got this profile system here?
I don't know who they are.
Huh?
You won't know who they are.
Yes, you will.
If you don't have that?
Because you're going to become an expert. What this system also allows you to do is become an expert. How do you do that? In here are tools that are going to show you how to recognize people by the way they walk, the way they talk, their gesticulations, their demeanor, how they pose themselves. You're going to learn how to hear things that are never said. And that's how you get to know people. Part of it is recognizing personality. We have a chart that's going to show you how to do that. And another thing is you go to the second shield, which is motivations, and you've just learned your 5 best feelings that are up here. And you've learned the dynamics that take place in there. But what's going to make you an expert in that? You have to become, as consultants, experts in all 60 feelings or motivations. Does that sound like a daunting thing? How do I become an expert? Do you just read my 60 stories? That's a lot to memorize, isn't it? How many pages is that? It's 60 single space pages of text. Nobody wants to read that. So my goal is to duplicate this with you without you having to learn my stories that I've written and develop your own. The easiest way to do that, if you know this is true about honor, you've looked at honors, you've looked at each other, oh, that's definitely him. If you ever meet somebody else and you're listening to the words they use, or you decided, hey, this person over here, they're a fun, perfect person, and I've heard their words or the way they talk, I bet you they're motivated, they're also self-sufficient. You look at that same stranger when you've learned how to hear what's not said. You just identify them. You start talking to them and talk to them, describe to them who they are, but you're describing honor. That's the secret. Is once it gets to this level, you eliminated 55 feelings to say these are the top 5 in life, and then you asked the right questions to a stranger or a peer and learned about what they're motivated by. You can then look to the person you know personally and explain that same person. It means the same to him as it means that other person. All you need to do is learn how to ask the right questions, to talk and to hear what's not being said.
Now, question.
Okay.
Why 3, not 7? Why 5?
Excuse me?
Why 3? Why? I mean, like we have 5 main feelings. Why did it start with 3? Was there? I just want to know if there was a reason why we thought 5, the first 5 feelings would probably be more inclusive.
Because I like the number 5. I watched Sesame Street. My favorite. I watched Count. What's his name? The Count.
Yeah.
And I watched it. And 5.
Contract.
5 is the number,
Yeah.
and it's just stuck with me. So good question though. At the end of this report, you're going to see something called the talent families.
Okay.
Your shield, what we're trying to do is demonstrate with your motivational shield the dynamics of your top 5 best feelings. I could have made it 7, I could have made it 3, I could have made it anything.
That could be it. Yeah.
But primarily, in your explanation, in your profile report, it talks about the very top best feelings. The first one is everything you're motivated by. Myself, I'm sincere heart. And these are good and bad things. You ever heard of the saying, there's too much of a good thing? Let's explore that for 1 second. Honor and I got the same thing. We're both sincere at heart, which means we just love taking care of people. That's simply what it means. But it's no longer a descriptive trait of me. It's no longer a descriptive trait. He's a sincere at heart guy. Dismiss that. No, he's a real sincere at heart guy, which means he's loved, he's helped, he's given his time, his money, his energy, only to be taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Time and time again. But no matter what, you tell me if you agree on it, both of us being sincere persons, we can't change that feeling in us.
Can't.
We can't. I still let people take advantage of me. I'm the dumbest sincere heart person there is. No matter how much people abuse my friendship and my love for them, they still take advantage of me. Sincere heart. Another thing we can talk about and look at these shields is your strength is your weakness. You've heard that saying, right? Mm-hmm. Your strength becomes exact opposite when it's been abused. So what makes you feel good also makes you feel bad, right? So you can do some wordplay here. Sincere at heart, what would be the opposite of sincere at heart?
Callous.
Cold at heart.
Cold heart.
You've been there too, haven't you?
Mm-hmm.
I've given enough. This person has demonstrated, it usually takes 7 to 9 times. But once we get to the 7th or 9th time, we finally say, I'm done with it. But once we're done, we're very cold at heart. I don't want to hear from you. I don't want to talk from you. I don't want to hear your name mentioned. Am I right?
Stop talking about time like that.
Well, you can feel it, right? Because this is evoking
Yeah.
emotions and memories out of you.
Absolutely.
The people flash through his eyes, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's how powerful this is. Don't ever underestimate the power of these 5 best feelings. You eliminated 55 other potentially good feelings
Right.
to say this is what makes me feel best in life. And no psychologist can tell me I don't. It's like that. I don't want to get into my little psychology rant. I love psychologists, really. For the purpose of this video, I just want to make a disclaimer statement that I love all psychologists.
I did bring the boxing gloves, so you know.
I really don't hate psychology. I think everybody goes into psychology in the field. I know a lot of people, and I actually have a lot of friends, and they go into it because they really want to help other people. My problem is, why don't they just get to the basic essence of who people are? And I've met a lot of them. There's different camps. There's a lot of them that it's a power trip, much like an attorney would be, or a politician, or anybody else. It's a power trip. I know something you don't. I can tell you something about you you don't. I don't want somebody to tell something about me. I want to discover who I am. Yeah. So back to your question, Matthias, on the 5 motivation shields. We're trying to find the dynamics in here first. So like we said, sincere heart, inspirational. Those are my 2 best feelings. They simply mean I love to take care of people and I love to teach. And again, it's not descriptive about me teaching. Everything I'm doing right here. This is the highlight of the last several months for me. I get to actually teach something and I'm excited about it. I love it. I'm going to walk out of here and I'll probably be talking for the next 24 hours, either to myself or anybody to listen. Because it felt good to convey all this information to somebody. Okay. Interesting, we were talking earlier about honors. Let me go find Dennis Honor. That same teaching we were talking about before, we kind of joke around about. When you come across somebody that's self-sufficient, what does self-sufficient mean? I don't need you. Now, it doesn't mean they don't want you around. I don't need anybody to help me be what I'm going to be. Now, while we have the same desires, the sincerity, and he loves people, he's warm, he's creative, so we have those same desires. There's a natural communication block between Honor and I at times that where my willing to teach anybody to listen something, and him taking a little bit more of his serious side and self-sufficiency says, wait a minute, I need to lead this ship. I don't need anybody else to tell me how to do it. And that's okay, as long as I know it. I know now with our, before we even had these profiles, Honor and I have talked about this, right? I know now that in order to make sure I get Honor on my team, I got to assure him that he controls his own ship. It's simple as that. If he's working for me, I need to give him an operation of something that he can feel he is controlling that portion of it. Okay? Doesn't mean he wants to work alone. Independent means I want to work alone.
Right.
Okay? Alright, so that's the dynamics. We'll get into a lot of that a little later. The second thing is, or the third shield I have is the nature shield. We'll go down here. Look at one of these. Actually, we'll go into, let's see, nature. Okay.
You following all this, Ronald?
I'm with you.
Okay.
Okay. This third shield is soft nature. Now, there's measurements in your profile. You'll see how much you are, and certainly, I'm one of those people that I'm high in everything. I'm high in all 4, except for drugs. I'm high in personality. All 4 personalities I'm high in. I'm high in both the soft and the hard trait, but I'm more of a softie. I'm a soft trait first, soft-traded person first. And if you look at your measurements, you can be a chameleon. If you're high over 1,900 to 1,000 above in all 4 personalities, you'll find the dynamic of that person. They can literally be 4 different people. I'm like that. At work, and when these guys can testify to it, I'm very passionate and I'm driven and I'm like, people got to do this. That's that controller coming out of me. That's my secondary personality. My primary personality is fun. And I just about having some fun and entertaining and cracking jokes and singing and being on stage or, life of the party. That's my primary personality, but that's my social life. Then I have this perfectionist thing, which is when I'm doing these workbooks and stuff like that, meet with Angie, and that's not quite right. We went through this yesterday. I was actually having a brain block, and we had to go outside and talk about, okay, what am I trying to do here? But when I do sit down to write, I'm a huge perfectionist. If you look at my spreadsheets, you've seen the spreadsheets.
Very detailed.
Okay, it's very detailed, which is my least, but it's still ranked right around 1,000. So I have the capacity to do that. It's just not my natural inspiration. My natural inspiration is the fun, control part of me. Then at home, which is really weird, I don't want to have a bunch of excitement. I don't want to deal with a lot of details. I don't want to get things done. I want to sit on my couch and watch a TV show, or be with my kids and my family and talk, and just relax. So I'm a peace person at home. Some people don't have high intensities and all that, and they just kind of go, almost look bipolar in some cases. They could be a peace control, which is an opposite of each other. Peace is about getting along, control is about getting it done. So you see the natural opposite. Brad right here, you're a peace controller, right?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, so he's like that. He can be real peaceful, but we used to joke around at him in our meetings years ago that when Brad spoke up, watch out, because there's something serious to be said. And it was, every time. He'd break, well, he'd come, I really think we need to do this. And he was adamant about it. We didn't bother fighting Brad because we only know he only spoke when he wanted something done a certain way. So, a little different. So he can go one way, that way. Me, I'm kind of like all over the map. Getting back to the soft nature, hard nature of it. Soft nature people are simple. They want to be part of a team. They want to make sure that everybody's kind of getting along and that we're all working together. They are the productive and production type of people in their life. And if you want to kind of go on a limb and say, they're the followers. They're not really followers, but what they don't mind is they don't mind taking instruction. They don't mind you as a hard-natured person necessarily giving them goals and objectives, because they're the ones that are going to fulfill most of that. Okay? The hard-natured people are more related to bullet points, goals, objectives, getting things done. And the natural dynamic between that sometimes is a hard-traded person versus a soft-traded person is one's motivated by us, everybody working together, getting along, getting things produced, soft-natured. And the other person's motivated by, let's meet these deadlines, let's get these goals done, and let's do that, and I don't care what's happening. Those are the extremes of the two. So part of the education here is to let everybody understand who they are. If I'm a hard-traded person and I've had difficulties getting my team to work, or my wife, or my, whatever, she's laughing because she's got a hard-traded husband.
And I'm soft.
And she's soft. So he's like, hey, we're going to do this. And she's okay. So, but part of this program.
Russell can't say that.
No?
No, it's the opposite.
Ooh.
For the sake of the,
The funny part. That's not funny. Never mind. I won't say it. Kind of got me off there. You got me my fun side. I wanted to come out there and kind of play with that whole thing. So, hey, we all have our ups and downs. Now where was I at?
Hard and soft
Hard
nature.
and soft nature.
How they can work together.
Yeah, I think I concluded that. I can move on. We'll get into a little more of that later. The force shield, and this is probably going to be the most powerful shield in reality that you're going to come across, because this is where you're going to make your money. The force shield is called the talent families. And primarily, who is somebody? And if I look at
Talent?
Talent.
talents, there's 5 talents. And if you look at your report, top of your at the back of your report, you're going to see your talent families. This is going to explain a little bit more what you were saying, the 5 is why just the 5. Now what we've done with the talent families, look back to there. As you see, we've got broken down into 5 categories. First one is relationship and cooperation. Second one is determination and repetition. Third one is presentation, creativity. fourth one, leadership, team building, and the fifth one is promotion and articulation. So let's think about those in a workplace.
You don't have to pay them.
Yeah, I think I'm missing a page.
Actually, it's it's about 4 pages from the back.
It's all in
The talent families that influence.
Oh, it just gives you which,
Yeah, we
To
get, it
your
has our
service.
respective whatever.
okay,
So,
alright,
about a 4 page from the back.
there's your first shield for it.
yeah.
I have
Bless you.
Let's look at honor. What are yours? Everybody read me off. Presentation. Read me off. I'm gonna go around the table here and read me off. You know what? Does everybody
Everybody's
got say
different.
presentation and determination on that? I thought I saw that.
No, it's
Yeah,
presentation and
Yeah,
creativity,
determination.
I have
and then
presentation.
determination and repetition.
Hey, I know mine comes out wrong, and that's another thing that Anvar's gotta look at,
Presentation and creativity.
because I had him do it.
Determination.
Is it wrong or is it just, it's at the type?
I'm gonna look at this. I think we have a bug in here, because mine is promotion and relationship.
No,
Yeah.
that's not on here.
Okay, he has,
Well, it's different for each person.
Well, that's what
Right?
I'm thinking now.
now, on this report, I'll show you what I'm talking about. Anvar needs to fix this, Angie,
Okay.
because if we go to, I'm gonna show you, I discovered this last night. I gave him a bunch of corrections because.
What's great about Russell?
Nothing. Oh.
Oh, that's.
Something's wrong.
Okay, so now watch this. Now, what does your page say, Russell? On that?
What's great about Russell?
No, not that part. That part.
They like some of it.
Yeah, determination, repetition, promotion, articulation.
See, now if you look at your snapshot, which is the correct one, it has promotion and leadership.
Oh, okay, so
Okay.
the report's not pretty nice.
He did an edit for me the other day, and I think when he did that, he didn't update this side.
Alright.
Okay, so this report is not giving you the correct shield, although your counts in.
Oh, you're looking at mine.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
Promotion and articulation. I got determination and.
But if you look at your 5 categories on
It's-
here, what you look in the first level, it says level 1, key benchmark motivations.
Right.
And you'll see a list of the high things.
It says determination, repetition, promotion, and
Now
articulation.
go to the next page.
The level 1 key
You got
benchmark.
level 1, level 2, level 3, and then level 4.
Yeah.
Level 1.
Repetitive, consistent, persistent.
Okay. If you look at your biggest column, what's your biggest column show?
Team building.
Leadership, right?
Leadership, yeah.
And then,
Determination.
okay, you probably got some, what do we have for you? Leadership and promotion. You have a lot in there. I think some of your higher, what happens is there's measurements, your overall films, like you go to your second, you probably have a lot more under promotion, and your third. Yeah, see there it is. The first level is your highest graded motivational fitness. This goes beyond the 5 for Matthias.
These are.
Yes, that's, yeah.
If you look at that, now you can see, these are your greatest feelings. Not your top 5, but your
Right.
highest graded feelings. So it starts to put a little more perspective in it, okay? And then we go into the second level, which is 75 and above. So if you add those together, you got a few more.
So it's like a subset of a subset.
Yes,
Okay, okay.
there you go. Then 65 to 74.9, and then the level 4, key benchmark motivations, is anything from 0 to 40%. And if you notice, under these talents, we're missing an area from 41% to 64%.
41% to 64, right.
I like to just say they're irrelevant.
Okay.
The reason I say that is they're so far in the middle that that's not what I'm really interested in. I want to know, first, everything that you're strongly motivated by, and second, things that kind of really tick you off, or things that just rub you wrong. So anything 40% or low is considered kind of a low score motivation-wise. I'm not motivated a lot by that, or at all. And so I need to know that, because if you look down, like mine, the fourth thing, or in my below 40%, I have 2 things. Precise, oh no, I have more than that. I have avoids conflict, unemotional, precise, neat, born leader, flashy, thrives on encouragement. Those things are not important to me. Okay, now, if you had a job, in our system, you can benchmark all your employees by these 5 categories. And you benchmark in there some of the key things that I've measured with my successful people they have. They had things measured 40% below that 40% was thrives on encouragement. Why? Because this is the call takers, or these are outbound credit collection people. The last thing they need to do is be motivated by thrives on encouragement.
Right.
That's something they kind of need to lack, isn't it? Because I'm not getting a lot of encouragement if I'm trying to collect somebody's bill every day.
Right.
Okay, me, I fit perfect into that category because it doesn't bother me at all. It's down there below 40. If you look at all 5 of these categories, look at promotion articulation. What is that? That's sales.
Yeah,
Isn't it?
that's
Okay.
kind of crazy.
Leadership and team building. These are true leadership manager type mentalities. Okay, it doesn't mean because you want to be a manager. It's because if you look at these characteristics and you read through all the things in each category, you'll find that it's a montage of things that make up good leaders. It's not somebody that says they want to be a born leader. It's people that are born leaders. Okay? What are you laughing at? You got a lot there?
What you saying?
Okay. Presentation and creativity. These are our artists, our designers, our engineers, and things like that. And then you have determination and repetition. We need people in repetitive tasks. We need people just to get the job done. So when I think of 2 different things, repetition, determination, construction workers and mill workers, add a little more of that, assembly lines. I need people that are motivated just by that repetition. Some people are fine going to work 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week, doing the same job over and over. Why? Typically they're peace people. They don't have the stress of a salesperson. They don't have the stress of a manager or leader that takes their problems home every night. And they don't have to think deeply about designing things. Now, that's not you, is it? He loves to design things. All right? Okay? So that's what these families are doing. It's breaking it down there. Now, if you imagine measuring your company by these 5 talent families, and you go in there and you go click, 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 what you can do in the Huey Hire version right now, and in our new one you'll be able to do it too. It's not in Jack's system yet. It'll be something when we're ready for the first contract, it'll be up. Imagine you can take your 7 out of 100 salespeople, you say, you know what I'm missing in here? No psychological profile can give me this. They have a canned profile saying, oh, this might be a good salesperson, right? You're familiar with those?
Yeah.
This is beyond that. You get to benchmark your historical success based on your own company's unique culture.
Yeah, because that's the bottom line. How does it affect our environment that we work in now? I mean,
Right.
yeah.
So how do you do that? Go back to the beginning. I'm going to lean on you and request your support on this because of your psychology background. We talked before about what psychologists could tell us we don't feel the way we feel. You agree with that, right? So that's true. That's 100% truth. This is how these people feel. And then you can take 100 salespeople or 100 floor personnel and say, out of them, intuitively, I know the most successful people are Matthias, Bobby, Honor, Angie, Russell, and Luke. Those are my performers. How do I measure that? I know it intuitively because I know I never have problems with them. They're always successful. They're profitable for the company. And everybody loves them. Simple intuitiveness, right? Click, 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 click. Tell me what do they all have in common? And what brings back is now a report that says most of them have this level of presentation, this level, all 5 categories, and then key motivations. Now when I get to my report, my benchmark, these are benchmarked, I say, I now have a true basis to determine this is unique to my culture and unique to my historical success in my company of who's successful. When I get a profile, somebody comes to my site, they want to apply for a job, I can simply compare it. Now my Huey Hire site actually shows you check marks of exactly where they met in all 5 categories and are they a thumbs up or thumbs down.
Right.
Okay, but even on a paper form like this, you can take the 2 reports together and say, here's my benchmark, and then over here is what I see is what they're having. I interview with them. I say, well, Dennis, you know, you have this thrives and encouragement high up on your scale here, but what we learned in this outbound sales thing is people that require that, it's not gonna fulfill what you need. There's not a lot of that encouragement. Is sure this is the field that you want to go into? You can now communicate with a interviewee and talk to them in a way they understand why I'm not qualified for a job. Or, you know, I have a different position available that you actually meet a perfect benchmark for. How about the people internally in your company? You're not happy in this position. Well, I never thought about this before, but you know, you've got all the 5 category measurements where we want you over here on the sales force. See how simply that is? You're measuring your success benchmarks wise, and then your people can be, I got myself outlined here.
One quick question on that, Dennis, is that there is a summary of the entire applications that they've submitted, right? You put in, there is a summary for
Yeah.
the business owner or
Well, see,
president
if you look,
or whoever.
yeah, you look right. Well, it's the dashboard.
Okay,
It's readily available.
okay.
You go in here, first thing you see in a dashboard, I'm looking at
Russell?
Russell right now. And I say, it might be timed out here, but let's see. I look at that, I can get the detail by looking at his whole report.
The whole, okay.
That's what I just did.
Okay, good.
It's all on a dashboard.
Yeah.
But I can look at the summary right here. So if I want to view the report, there's also another level of summary here. Yeah, I think let's see if I got a log back in. Yeah.
Actually, you should be signed into Google,
That's,
what's it called as well, so he will be able to do screenshots, so that we'll be able to see him on the screen doing it. Google Hangouts.
okay, so this is one of my tests. By the way,
Yeah.
it's the perfect system if you want to change yourself in from a guy to a girl, you can do that. So I just did a test profile as a girl here, that's not really me.
Thanks.
Okay, I simply go in, say I'm the director, I'm a peer. It's not just for managers, it's for each other.
Yes.
Okay, for the manager,
The manager.
he's gonna have different
summary.
tools.
Yeah.
They do have a company dashboard on here. I'm not gonna show you that today.
Okay,
We do have it in here,
okay.
but it does pretty much the same function here. But as we add more tools on in the new Huey, which is gonna have the same thing as we have in our old Huey, the complete benchmark measurement, you'll have that. But the navigation will be the same, the look and feel will be the same. I simply go into my company, or if I had them by job type, I can go by job.
Mm-hmm.
And I can say, I can pick up, my mother did one here. Let's see if she finished hers. There, my mother. Okay, so there's the basics. I go to view my report. First, it's gonna give me a summary.
That's what I want to see, the summary.
Or is this actually, well, the summary's right here on this page. See these shields? You can click through them.
Okay. Leadership.
So, it's all 4 of the shields.
Ships.
When you go in and you take an attitude scale, your current measurement styles, everything is up here. The top part of the screen is a snapshot. So if you've measured your attitude,
Mhm.
you're going to see your scores up there.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I'll show you a little bit quick.
Okay.
I don't want to get off tangent, but I'm on hers. Let's look at mine. It's easier. Okay. So here's the summary right here. When I click on mine, on hers, it was trying to take me directly to the report. I'll look at my summary right here. Shows my top motivations. Everything's together. It shows my measurements in all categories.
Right.
Soft, hard, thinker, energizer, achiever. And there's a level 1 benchmarks, the primary things. To get the complete report, you just get the whole report.
Right.
But this is the summary. These are primarily what I'm motivated by. So I can look at that if I know my positions in my company well. If I'm a human resources director, I can get a glance shot. It's kind of like looking at the top of all the resumes being submitted. Yes, yes, no, yes, yes, no. I can do that through this system.
Okay.
That's your questions about?
Right. That's what the summary is.
Yeah, that's the summary. And then you just click for the complete detailed report. I'm gonna go in quick here, back to my dashboard, and put my measurements, and I'm not gonna talk about it, I just wanna show you the display. Take my internet, take my attitude scale, I'm gonna measure myself, homework, school, socially, and personally. Put my scores in. attitude right now. And I can note history. Now there's my scores.
There's your scores.
Okay? Now if I go back to my dashboard, that now becomes part of my snapshot. Notice I have a lot more boxes here now.
Okay.
So if you're instituting a policy within the company that says, hey, we want everybody to take their attitude scale daily, or weekly, or monthly, periodically, you determine as a company or as an organization. And we'll get into the attitude scale later, how powerful this is. That's a sustainability tool is what it is. Now, you'll be able to go at yours and look at other people, look at what their current scores are. He's 24 at home, 26 at work, excited, socially, good energy, stick with it. Personally, he must be talking to himself because he's still rebellious. Okay. So every new application we have is going to have a result graphic under the snapshot. That's your first level of summary. Then every
And then you can merge them.
every profile for every exercise we have, there will be details. So in a detail for an attitude scale, the detail might include why you feel that way today. Okay? Because I could have measured, I could have said, why did my score change? That's what we want people to do. Why did I move up or down the attitude scale? Because attitude has momentum. So I'm going to get to that in a bit.
Our limits are 0 to 100.
Yeah, what's that?
Our limits, the scale would be 0 to 100. Like, how do I feel?
No.
Yeah.
The attitude scale itself, and I'll go back to it.
I'm trying to.
Here's my attitude scale. If I look at it, see there's my ups and downs. I
Okay.
get charts and graphs, my peaks and valleys through life.
That's
Okay.
important,
Okay.
especially for the president of the company.
Yes, well, better yet,
Okay.
as a company, I'll be able to look at the attitude scale, and I can look at an individual employee.
Individual, but also
Yes.
Yeah.
the
So it's
sum.
not so much of a value system.
Merging
No.
of all
That's
measures.
right. It's
Does
a
that
gauge
mean,
as
can you
to
add,
what-
you have to spend average the company?
Yeah, I was gonna get ready to
Yeah,
spend all of everybody's
because then
attention
they're gonna
first.
have to make decisions on what they're gonna do to improve that company and also to improve those individuals. And there may be some things we can do and recommend to them.
Yeah, well, I'm gonna give you an analogy here.
Okay.
Let's take Boeing. Boeing Corp. They have, just like we have designed our system here, headquarters in Chicago, right? Then they have sub-companies, Raytheon type companies or whatever, different aerospace industries. And then underneath those companies, they have different branches. Then they have different divisions, different departments, and then different job types, correct? So do we. So the attitude scale, when you look at that, imagine I'm a Boeing executive in Chicago, and I've got 1.7 million employees worldwide. And I measured, see there's a 1 to 28, to answer your question, 1 to 28, 1 and 2 murder or suicide. That's a reality. That is a reality, and no more evident than today.
Yeah, that's,
Okay? How we feel as a nation, it's connected to what's happening today. You know, people told me years ago, I don't know if you want to put murders. It's reality, right, Brad? We went through this. So we went through this. Is some people say, "Oh, well, let's be said." I'm not about political correctness here.
right. It's,
I'm about reality.
Right.
And you need to understand that attitude has momentum. When you go up and down this scale, and if you don't stop it, people continue to go down and down. When I get to the attitude scale, I'm going to give you an example of that. To answer your question, though, because it was brought up, a company measures a company in Boeing, say they had an average corporate company-wide, all 1.7 employees, they had a 22.5 average. And then that blips like 22.47, just 0.3%. That's huge for a company with 1.7 million employees. So then they say, well, let me look at my branch level. Have any of them are higher or lower? They click at their branches, look at each branch. That one's high, that one's high, that one's, oh, here's the problem. I went to my branch and found out it's in Seattle. It's the Boeing airplane division. Then I said, or which branch that was. It was the Everett plant doing the 747s and 777s. Okay, click. Well, these ones are fine here. Where? Oh, it's the division. It's the 747 line. Click on the division. Goes to my department. It's the Mechanics. Holy smoke, union contracts coming up. And something's brewing. Go down to job types. It's a specific type of mechanic. They can actually look at their scores and drill down.
Hey Dennis,
Yeah.
when we relaunch Huey Me,
Mhm.
we need to put a attitude scale for how people think of the nation, how we're doing.
That would be a neat thing.
It'll grab the attention of the political realm.
That'd be for a public site, not the world site, probably or business site. What he's saying is, what if we had a pulse for the whole nation?
But it'll also give, I don't wanna say that word again, but validity to the program, because
Oh, sure.
because it's gonna mirror exactly what's happening in the nation,
Yeah.
and it's definitely.
And what's he saying here is kind of like they have the debt clock.
Yeah.
We have an attitude clock of what's our day, and if it changes, and it goes through our public site, Matthias, we're not familiar with this. We have the Huey Biz and Jack Lanham's site. These are all private sites. But there's a public profile. You have a Huey key, just like on Yahoo or anything else, that allows you to maintain a personal profile for social networking.
Okay.
Now on that social network, you're going to be able to hit your attitude scale. We already have the attitude scale for that.
Okay.
So when you click that, what he's saying, let's have an attitude scale that shows you how you feel, how people in your city, maybe your city feel, state, nationwide, world.
Yep.
You can see an ongoing trend.
Yeah.
You can drill it down.
That's a great idea.
Right into areas, to states, to counties, to cities.
Yeah, that's a great idea. We've
That's
done it for
very
business already.
Right,
Yeah.
Let's just duplicate the same process
That's
for
very
them.
important right now, especially with the attitude of our.
Alright.
you know,
What,
crime, murders,
What time is it? You
crime.
got?
11?
11.
Oh, that's it? Okay, so we're moving rapidly through this. I want to get back on note now. I want to take a quick break and we can go pick up sandwiches. By the way, my son got us 50% off on everything.
Good son.
50%.
Yeah. So, take it back. Okay, here's my phone. All right, so I went through the 4 shields. Actually, this would be a good time to take a quick break because now I'm going to get into the sustainability portion of it, the other tools that bring home all this information. I'll go through them, summarize as one word, go through the belief system. Then we'll actually go through the attitude scale in depth and how that's actually used. Then we're going to go through source of fear and faith, the imagination room, and moving things to the attic, which we don't have a graphic for.
Yeah, we did.
The 7 things in life that everybody is looking for, and then boomerangs, and how you win and how you let Freddie win, and the feeling of importance, and then relationships and rewards. Everything's a relationship in life, and where do you get these motivational rewards? These are the things that stick the things in the mind. It's buy-in to, I'm responsible for being on the attitude scale, up on the attitude scale. If we know we have successful things higher up on the attitude scale, why do we let other people bring us down? Just think about that. I'm going to take a break on that. Think about it. How do you stay positive through negative situations? So, you ready to take a break, Brad?
Oh, sure.
Half smile. So I'm going to start going over some of these dynamics. This is kind of like the interactive experience here. First of all, I want everybody to look at their front page, and if you don't already know it by heart, and who in here, their primary personality, which would be the one on top, is a peace person.
No.
Who is it, Todd? Was anybody a peace person first? I know Brad here is a peace. And if you look at Brad on the monitor, you notice there's not really a downward or upward formation of his lips. It's pretty much a straight face. And if you look at the caricature of the peace person in your book, and if you go back to recognizing people in your little workbook, you can see the black and white. I can actually bring it up here.
Okay.
Recognizing people.
Yeah, peace is like, the piece of fish.
Okay. View, full screen mode. See, if you look at the little caricature here, it kind of looks like Brad a little bit, doesn't it? Look at the monitor. Now he's smiling.
Well, take the hat off, Brad, let's see. Oh, you have hair.
But if you look at that, now if you look at Todd, which is not in the thing, anybody knows Todd, if you notice him, he doesn't have a lot of facial expression. Look,
No, you don't.
do you see the peace face? This is your natural demeanor of these personalities. And so we have Todd's a peace person, we have Brad's a peace person, who else? Did you come up peace person? What are you, a fun person, right?
Yeah.
Fun person. Okay. Honor, what is yours? Yours fun, perfect, right?
Nope.
Or perfect fun?
Nope.
I am on peaceful too.
Where is that? Tell you that?
It's, well, this
I'm on
is, in the
peaceful too.
PEA, it's the,
What?
oh,
Are you independent?
Honor is,
Help me, what am I? It's just a top one, right?
where are they at?
no, he's fun, perfect, yeah. Energizer thinker, so fun, perfect.
Peace.
So, okay, yeah, Bobby. Now look at that. Now look at Bobby, Brad, and Todd. And you see the basic demeanor, their facial expression? When they're even paying attention. Not a lot of expression on the face. You look at me, I'm obviously a fun person. He's a fun person, fun. And when we're talking, you see that we're using the hands for animating a little bit. Me especially, I'm extremely fun, so I'm always running. So you look at the gesticulations of people.
The superficial gesticulation, that
What's that?
is. The superficial gesticulation.
Yeah. The superficial gesticulation.
That's the first word I learned.
Peace would be with me.
Gesticulation?
So on this, on those,
If you look at controllers, and you look at these diagrams and recognizing people,
your peace.
you'll see that controllers are typically like this, or like this. And it's like there's some patience inside of us. I'm a secondary controller. When other people are talking or other people are doing things, there's this need to get things done. And you cannot get things done when other people are talking. So when I usually set up, and when you go into a group with a company, I was talking to Bobby in the car about what we're missing here. What we're missing here is we all kind of know a little bit about the system, all right? So the initial excitement that people experience when you go in and they've never had this before, we're missing that today. Because when they see each other, they start laughing. What we do is we start separating people in groups. We take all the controllers over here, we put all the fun people, perfect, and peace people in these groups. And what we do is we start showing, along with these caricatures, their facial demeanor, their facial expressions, their demeanor that you might see, how they poise themselves, and things like that. And this is really key to the training in recognizing people. Okay? Now I want to show something. The reason we're going to get into all these tools here as far as recognizing people a little bit later. I wanted to bring this up to conclude one thing, to show a dynamic about Honor and I again. Because here's one of the things that we've gone through when we were deciding he's going to open up his consulting business. Is we've had for this last year, it's a great relationship, I believe. But when we really got serious and down to things, and he's going to open up his business, and I'm open my business, it's kind of funny. You look at perfect people on here, and it says what they say to the other personality types, and you go look to the fun person, which is me, and it says, slow down, get serious. That's kind of what Honor was saying to me in his own way. Slow down, Dennis, and get serious here. Because he decided he would do business. Well, I'm a fun person. And his perfect side was coming out with that, because he's doing his business. Like me in my business, I'm a fun person by nature, but the harder trait, which is perfect and control, those are hard nature type things. That's what comes out when we run our businesses. Our harder nature comes out. Okay, so here I am trying to get things done with a fun personality. Honor's now decided he's going to develop this whole business consulting group, and he says, Dennis, slow down, and now let's get serious. And so that's where that dynamic that we had. And we were talking about, we need to build this trust back up. My question was, where did the trust go? What happened is, we started getting serious about things. This is no longer talk anymore. We became serious. And when his serious, instead of being just, it was nice to meet up with Dennis and talk about these great things and changing the world, that was kind of fun for him because we're both fun guys. We could talk forever, couldn't we, Honor? We just talked forever for the last year. But then he got serious, and I said, let's get it done. And that's where we started having this conflict. The trust was never lost. It just got blurred because both our intensities met. Okay? His seriousness and my bluntness.
Excuse me.
Does that explain our relationship? Okay. So we're all back on the same page there? Okay. So I just wanted to go with that. But one of the other things we have, and we'll include in this workbook later, we did get it in there, is...
I didn't know if you wanted to pull the graphic back up that was going along with that, the recognizing.
Oh, yeah, we went back there. There. Now what was I gonna go back to?
What we left out of the workbook that you want in it.
Oh yeah, when we separate the people, one of the first things I do in a work group, remember, we're strangers, but we're not all strangers here, but we're all familiar with this product a little bit now. But when we go into a company, we want to demonstrate differences. And part of it's done through the characters, part of it's done through the personality, and then uniqueness of every individual is done through the motivational shields. But what I do is I'll separate them in groups of fun people, control, peace, and perfect. And then I'll take, okay, what's your secondary personality? So initially you have all those fun people over here, and then you have the peace people over there, and they're kind of like this, and perfect people are kind of looking at each other like that. Fun people are usually talking to each other, they're not paying attention. And control people are waiting for the next step. And it's really neat, the dynamics you see when you separate by the 4 categories. But then I switched up and said, look, okay, anybody that's got a secondary personality, perfect, come over here. And we switch it up. And then you see a subtle difference, because now you got a little mixture of their perfect sides there, but they don't look like they all the same. So what we're demonstrating here is that combination of your primary and secondary personality is what kind of makes us different. And we have different things. The other thing is we talk about if we have is our secondary personality more of a dominant, which is perfect or control, thing come out in our work life, that's what we see the most. That's why they say, you're so different at home than you are at work. Why? At home, my softer side takes place.
Oh.
At work, it's my serious side. Or it's my determination side. Okay? Then we also talk about, and there's a diagram you saw in the old workbook, we'll get that included, I think, in this workbook, it shows all 4 of these quadrants where which ones are introversion and which ones are extroversion. Fun people and control are extroverted. Get it done, have fun. Both extroversion, we can see that, right? Versus peace and perfect, which is get along and get it right. Those are introversion. Perfect people tend to be thinkers, artists, musicians. Just knowing what it takes to be an artist, a musician, or engineer, web designer. You know, just by thinking about that, that's a lot of internal thinking, because they're using their imagination, aren't they? A control person is what? They're about getting it done. Sometimes they're leaders, sometimes they're, you can think of a construction worker, somebody just works with their hands and stuff like that. Somebody that's a production worker and they're very productive. They measure their success on what they do. Perfect people measure these are hard traits, control and perfect. Perfect people measure their success on how they get things right. Right? Yeah. Being right is more important than getting it done, right?
That's true.
Getting along, Bobby, getting along is more important than getting it done too, isn't it?
Relationship.
It's about a relationship. That's a peace person. Peace person, they want respect for who they are and they want to get along. Now, they can reach your goals. Matter of fact, the peace people are most productive in society because what they also do is they make things simple. They devise things that allow things to happen smoothly. So that controller who wants to get it done, it's the extrovert and hard charging and pushing, needs the peace person that gets along with everybody and devises ways to make things simple. Some of the dynamics here. Fun people. What do we do to these fun people, these crazy people, sit there and talk and move their hands and stuff like this? What are they good for? Any suggestions?
Nope. That's.
Can anybody tell me why I'm important?
No.
This system sucks. It's not working. What do they need us for, Honor? Remember the 5 talent families?
Yep.
in front of everybody and let us know.
That's right, because a fun person's extroverted.
Right.
They're things like good on stage, fun, you know, they're actually sincere at heart. Sincere at heart is the fun characteristic. What does that mean? I love everybody and I want to take care of people. Part of fun is taking care of people. Okay, so we're salespeople. We're promoters, whether it be an idea or sales. So if you want somebody in public relations, you want somebody with a nice, dynamic, honest, truthful personality up there so that they can put an image on the face of your company. Do you want somebody out in sales, Brad? Yeah, what I want to sell you here.
You're a little too low, Dennis.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Oh, Brad couldn't see me. How about him? Luke. He's a designer. One, he doesn't want to do it, and that's the point of the system. This is not a psychological profile that says what your propensity for success is. This is a profile saying, hey, this is what makes me feel great, and I'm going to do what I want to do that makes me feel good, which is what you're doing, what you want to do, right?
I don't like sales.
You don't like sales. And if you did, he'd come up with, if he had to put up a sales presentation, he'd probably have a 72-page brochure.
With graphics.
Okay, right? Because he wants to graphically depict his idea. So whether you like me or not, you need me out there at sales, folks. Because I'm going to sit there and I'm going to conjure and get my way into somebody's imagination and talk about how great it is. But guess what? I can't do it by myself either.
Right.
I need the engineer to give me the brochure. I need this mind, this guy that's really worried about corporate look and feel, consistency. And I need people like that on our team. And then I need people that are going to be able to train too and empathize deeper and not be so animated at times to work with people on a one-on-one session or in conflict diversity issues or training, conflict de-escalation training. We need some of our peace people on our team too to work and show how this program can work for those people that need that type of thing. And I need the drivers out there. I need the controllers that will take this company and our companies together, work together and say, we need to get these things done, to set goals and objectives and bullet points. They're not really too concerned about how right it is, so let's go sell it right now. That's what you see out of me, right? And he's saying, well, get serious, we need this and this and this and that. I said, no, we don't. Here's my fun control slide coming out. That's what's happening. You feel this dynamic in here? Today what we're doing is we're putting it together and saying, where do we need each other? And that's what you're going to be doing within a business. Where do we need each other? We need to design engineers, artists, and musicians, and the people that create all the harmony and things that make things look right. We need all the peace people to do a lot of the repetitive work, along with controllers doing some of the repetitive work to actually make production work. We need the promoters and the fun people, energizers, to be out there and actively selling the stuff. The other thing that's great about fun people, rejection doesn't bother us. That doesn't. Can you imagine putting a peace person, which they want respect for who they are, want everybody to get along, and they avoid conflict with a passion? Do you put that peace person, if they don't have an element of some of these other things involved in, do you put them as your spearhead into sales? Well, if they don't have more of the other stuff? Because if they got avoids conflict as one of their top feelings, you know they're not doing any cold calls. You know they're not calling people up on the phone even. You know what a conflict is for a peace person? Anything where the answer is not what they want. Right, Brad? I don't think they're going to, I want to ask them this and I want them to say yes to it, but I don't feel they're going to say yes, so guess what? I'm not going to ask them. That's the conflict. That's the conflict I'm talking about. It's an emotional conflict with peace people. Anytime they don't get the answer they want, they'll avoid the situation. You ever seen that in the office space or in the military? They're the quiet people, and they seem to be having all these problems and everything else, and then all of a sudden they explode. Quiet people. They're conflict because they're not dealing with it on the outside, and they're internalizing it. They hit a wall. You've seen it in the psychology field. Yeah, so, anyways, I want to talk about a lot of those dynamics. There's much to learn. But what you're going to learn is not from me sitting up here talking. You're going to learn to become an expert in all 60 of the feelings, become an expert in all 4 of the personalities, the introversion, extroversion. It's in the old workbook you have. We'll include it in this workbook. And we'll talk more about it when we finish the instructor's manual for that. Some of the things we're talking about, we're going to encapsulate and put into that instructor's manual. So what we do today, we're actually learning from too, so we can formalize it in a workbook. Okay? So don't worry about remembering all. By the way, one of my, Todd can testify to this, Brad can testify to it, Angie can. One of my training methods to people and beliefs I have in training and educating and teaching people things is repetition. And I like to say, because I talk a lot and I talk about the same things over and over and over, I don't expect everybody to get it the first time I say it. I expect that the more I say it, eventually you'll get it. So there's no expectation of you all to be experts when you walk out this door here. That's putting too much on anybody. Okay? But through repetition, by you becoming an expert and saying, hey, you know what? This stuff makes sense about the personalities. Do they make sense? Raise your hand. Are they simple? Okay? It's not saying interesting to melancholy and all these good high-ended names that we see in the psychology field. They're simple for a reason, so a grade schooler can understand this. And if a grade schooler can understand it, anybody can.
One of the things we talked about was putting together some kind of a worksheet, and I kind of made up a little sample where you can actually go out the five spots where you can analyze somebody when you're talking to them. And I'd probably put like the 60 feelings on the back here that you can refer to.
What he's talking about, we had a meeting a couple weeks ago, and I said, if you don't have the dashboard to look at somebody, but you still need to become an expert at, you're going to become an expert by knowing the 60 feelings, and you do that by applying to the people you already know. So when you describe somebody that's sincere at heart, you're going to think of Honor or me, because you know a bunch of people got sincere heart in their shield. So all you got to do is describe to that new person, one of us, and they're going, how'd you know that? By the way, you're all becoming psychics. Yeah. You're all becoming psychics. Brad, how many times have we been called psychics?
Oh, numerous.
You know, when we go into the company and do this, or people get their reports, how did you know that? You know how I knew that? Because I didn't take a measurement test on you. I asked how you felt.
Right.
You told me. You told me
Talked about it.
that about you. That's the power of this, and I don't want that to be lost. What he's talking about here is we don't have a dashboard. Once you become an expert, and it's going to help you do that. Imagine it like this. I need to identify what in other people. What are they motivated by? How do I do that? Through words they use, things they don't say. So when I have a conversation with them, I'm listening. They might be talking about trucks. But are they detailing things about the trucks? Are they talking about the color, which would be more of a fun type of thing? Are they talking about the power, which might be a control type of thing? Are they talking about the efficiency, a peace type of thing? See the things you're not hearing. Understand what they're talking about, why they're talking about it. That gives you an idea a little bit about their personality. A good guess. Then the words they use. People that are sincere at heart, how many times do you find yourself saying, I like that person, they're very sincere. All the time. He uses it, I use it all the time. Serious. Who had serious? Ronald, you had serious, right? Yeah. How many times do you use the word serious?
Every time I
Not often. No, in describing different things or things that need to be done. We need to be serious about this. All the time, right? The words that we use relate to the feelings that we feel. We use the words because they feel good. It feels good to me in Honor, and in you too, because you had a sincere heart. Anybody has a sincere heart. It feels good for us to know people are sincere. So we talk and use words about sincerity in our life and our discussions about other people, relationships, friends, whatever. So that's what you're listening for. What words are they using? If you memorize the 60 words, then you can hear them when people say them. You ever, whoever's looked at their clock on their car, it always comes up that same number. You say to yourself, why do I always look at my clock in my car and it's always 4:20? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, it's always like, does that mean something? You know, like you think it's cosmic energy. Well,
Yeah. It's cognizant awareness.
Yeah, it is.
Have you noticed through the political season, how about this word? It's so overused now, I'm tired of hearing it. But once it started, everybody used it. It's their narrative. The narrative. Is everybody familiar with that word that's been out for the last 2 years? Are you sick of hearing the narrative? Most of the people don't even know what that means. Oh, well, the White House's narrative is this. Oh, the Republicans' narrative is this. What are they talking about? It's what they're talking about. What they want you to hear, the narrative. Anyways, our conscious minds will become consciously aware of something. That's cognitive awareness. Things become more clear, and we tend to hear that word, even though it's been used all the time, we tend to hear it more once we become consciously aware of it. Every time it's used, matter of fact, we hear it more often. That's why when we look at the clock, we probably look at our clock in the car 100 times in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
But only the one time that we notice repetitively do we recognize. Memorize 60 words and feelings. And when you start talking to people, those words you'll start hearing like that. Memorize the 60 words. You really got to do it. The 60 feelings, memorize. And then you'll be better at listening for them. Because they'll pop out just like the time on your clock. It's very important. That's a key lesson here. If you want better, and we're going to get to this next phase here. Why do you want better? So right now I'm just talking about tools. Now we're talking about why would you want to do that? Who's going to want to learn 60 feelings if there's no reward? Who wants to go through this work and learn all this if there's no reward? What is your reward? So we're going to move on. We'll talk about that one a little later after the session. I want to go in the next section. The first section we just went through and concluded was awareness, acceptance, and understanding. We became aware of our own uniqueness, our 4 different shields. Acceptance that everybody's different, right? And understanding now. This has got some application, okay? We went through a little interactive experience there with some of that. And now, the next section I'm going into is buy-in. Individual, team, and company. These exercises are meant to bring everyone onto the same page and buy into the program as something that inspires and empowers the individual as well as the team and the business. Okay? In the first section, we're going to bring up, how did I get into this? I haven't been into that program in forever. I'm right now. What happened? What the heck is this? Oh, that was a picture
Clicked
file.
on it, I just clicked on it.
Oh, I gotta do my, oh, I'm in the wrong one here. View. Okay, so, believe. So the first section is a belief system. If you look at this in a way, it's kind of like pessimism and optimism. There's a good balance to each. But pessimistic people, or people that lack belief in a way, you know, what are we talking about belief? Believe in ourselves? Believe in a God? Ideal? Easily put, it's believe that I'm going someplace. Doesn't matter where. But I'm going forward and it's positive. Okay? But some people have a belief system that, and they have the confident assurance that bad things you don't want to happen are waiting for you, even though you can't see them. How many people think on a pessimistic nature, it's all going to happen bad? Angie? Are you
I'm
pessimist?
working on it though.
Is it bad being a pessimist?
Well, I think it has its values, being a pessimist.
Especially if you're a cop.
Well, Your
You
Honor,
have to have a healthy amount of it. You
Yes,
can't let
exactly.
it control you.
Yeah.
there's a healthy dose of it. But we're talking about a belief system. And what we're saying is an unhealthy dose of either one accomplish there's some great things are happening. If you think too much that, oh, everything good's happening, I'm gonna win the lottery tomorrow too, everything's great happening, you're living in an unreal world. But you're also living in an unreal world if you're too pessimistic and say, oh, I'm gonna prepare for the worst all the time and hope for the best. Okay? No, you need to believe for the best and prepare for the worst. Okay? So, some people really live, and we'll get into why, they really believe that nothing's going to happen. I've been going for 17 years at this dream, right, Brad?
Well,
Hey, he's still here. Thank you, Brad. I really want to say that. Thank you. Because he's still hung on. Even though we don't do a lot of conversation, he knows this would happen. When we got the bezel from years ago, I said, this isn't dead until I'm dead. I will resurrect this. It took a lot. And he stayed by my side. Okay? That's belief.
That's right.
No matter what bad has happened, I'm not going to say a measurement of tomorrow's success is based off what I experienced today. It's not going to happen. I'm going to do this. I don't care what the obstacles are. Good things are going to happen. That's belief. And that's the people I brought onto this team. Isn't that what we talked about? He's our newest member. The reason we've gotten as much as we've got done without the finances and support and everything we have is not because I look for just talent. I look for believers. Okay? So belief is very important. And in a company, how important is belief. That your people believe not only in themselves, but in what you're trying to accomplish as an organization. About the team they're working with. Would you rather have, and here's a simple thing, these are all buy-in tools here. Buy-in. Do you want somebody on your team that believes in you, the team, and the business? And what if they don't? It's a real simple question to ask yourself. If I'm in the business right here and I got 20 people working together, and believe me, we've been in some companies that had a lot of tension. Miller Electric, remember Red Rick? Okay? The answer to that question is no, we don't want you in there. How do you tell the person in here, in this meeting, that you got, we don't want you? You're not going to say it, are you? So it lives in our company as a cancer. So we can choose, this is one of the tools I'm talking about, we can choose to rid ourselves of it, or we throw a bunch of boomerangs out there that are positive and try to change it. That's a choice. The only choice companies have. I can change it, or I can cut it off. Ask if you like that, don't you? Says, now that's serious. That makes sense. So it's not all fuzzy tools. Don't get this program wrong. It's not about fuzzy tools. We tell companies, you have a choice, but first you got to recognize your belief system. You got to see where everybody's on board, and then now there's an opportunity. We're going to show them how to take responsibility and become inspired and motivated in this company, or you're going to have to make those typical decisions. But now you know you've done everything you can. And more likely than not, you're going to change. You're going to inspire them, and you are going to turn them around. And I might not just turn them around personality-wise. I'm going to discover through this process that maybe there's a better place for them. I didn't know all this stuff. I didn't know that I had a guy that avoids conflict. I was expecting to make phone calls to 50 different credit collection calls every day.